Can you guys hear? Can you guys hear? Okay. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Any questions or comments about what was presented? We'll deal with that first. And then if there's any general questions that I can answer, inshallah ta'ala, I'll do that. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Any questions or comments about what was presented? It's not relevant right now. Any questions or comments about what was presented? Can you please clarify what you said about the angels visiting us between Fajr and Asr? What is to clarify? The angels, they change shifts at Fajr and Asr. There are angels that come to you at Salatul Asr and they stay with you from Asr to Fajr. And there are angels that leave at Salatul Fajr. And there are other angels that come down at Salatul Fajr and they stay with you until Asr. So Salatul Asr and Fajr are the times that the angels change shifts. There are times that the angels change shifts. Angels are constantly ascending and descending constantly. Can you ally with kuffar? You have to be more specific with that. You're using terms that some people kind of live in their heads and they ask questions based upon what they understand. There's a whole plethora of people here. Please clarify what you mean in terms of ally with kuffar. Who are kuffar and what do you mean by ally with them? You have to be more specific than that. Any other questions or comments about what was presented? Why do you keep asking the same question? I just said that's irrelevant. I said questions or comments about what was presented. And you send the question, why were you locked up 50 times? What is it? I mean, like, I don't get you. I don't understand you. I'm not going to sit here and tell you why I was locked up. Number one, you are not that important that I have to answer your question. And number two, that's not relevant to what we're talking about. You're right. This is exactly why you're on my Periscope telling me I'm not important, right? But you're on my Periscope, right? Excuse my ignorance, but why is being unclothed in the home during the day frowned upon? I didn't say it was frowned upon, and nor did I say it was sinful. I don't know. Were you listening to the lecture? I never used any one of those terms. I never said it was frowned upon, and I never said it was sinful for you to walk around your home unclothed. So I don't know what lecture you were listening to. That's not what I said. I had nothing to, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what lecture you're talking about, because that's not what we mentioned. I mean, I don't know. You gotta. Can she pray if her clothing isn't covering? I don't understand. Today I'll be giving the khutbah at Masjid Tawheed in Atlantic City. Masjid Tawheed in Atlantic City. I'm going to turn the chat off. It doesn't seem like there's any questions or comments. Anything relative. You're asking, can you ally with the kuffar? Can I join the police? What does these questions have to do with what we presented? what we discussed, what we talked about. If you're just coming on and you didn't attend the lecture, you know what we're talking about. I want questions. If you just attended the lecture that I just gave, I want questions or comments related to what we just talked about. If you just came on and you did not attend the lecture that we just gave, then, ask questions that are relevant to your religion. Questions that are relevant to your religion. They say you can tell a lot about a person by the type of questions that they ask. The intelligence of a person by the type of questions that they ask. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm a scholar and I should answer any question? Wow. Your perception, not my reality. I agree it's time for us to come back to our religion. I get distracted by other things. Absolutely. I'm a scholar and I should answer any question. MashaAllah. So I don't have a right to deny anything. Like, you're superimposing on me. And no one said I was a scholar. I am not a scholar. I don't think Muslim people are good people. Well, that's your perception and you're totally entitled to that. I don't think all Muslim people are good people either. I concur. I concur. People are people. People are people. There's fihim wa fihim. There's some good and there's some bad in everybody. I mean, that doesn't offend me because you say I don't think all Muslim people are not good people. Neither do I. What's your view on Black Lives Matter? Do you feel some have taken it too far? I can't say what I feel some people have done because I'm not aware of all of the intricacies of Black Lives Matter. I believe that the concept is very much on point. I actually had my Black Lives Matter t-shirt on yesterday. I believe that the concept, not as a movement, I'm not a part of any movement. I'm Muslim. I'm not a part of any movement. All right. However, I believe that the concept is definitely on point and is definitely something that we need to bring awareness to. Whether or not people have gone too far with that or not, I'm not in a position to say that. I'm not in a position to say that because I don't know the intricacies of, the media has can have a horrible impact on the mind. Absolutely. I can't say whether they've gone too far or not. I'm not in a position to say that. Can you recommend any books on the angels? I'm probably not the best person to ask about English books. I'm sorry, that's my Achilles heel. I'm not in tune with what's going on the English forum in terms of books. But you can always go to Dar es Salaam and look through the catalog that they have. So if I ask Allah to make me reading my book easier on me, I should also put the work in. Absolutely. Explain how Islam relates to us having a human experience. Can you post the question again? That was probably the best question that I saw on here since I opened the chat. Post your question again about Islam and the human experience. Please post that again. Explain how, what? Finish the question. Islam relates to us having a human experience. Well, the hadith where Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said that the human being starts off in the womb of the mother in a period of 40 days as a mixture of male and female semen. And then that semen actually goes through a process where it becomes a fetus, alaq, and then a mudgha. And then he said that when the fetus reaches the period of 120 days, which is 4 months, all right, a little bit past the first trimester, Allah sends an angel to blow the soul into the body of the fetus. That is where the spiritual and human experience, mesh. That's where it comes in contact with one another. So, actually, we are not considered human beings until the soul is actually placed into our bodies. All right? So, if the fetus dies before 120 days, Islamically, we are not to wash the body, shroud it, or because it's actually not even formed. We are not actually allowed to wash it, shroud it, name it, or bury it. We are to just discard it because it's not considered a human being. However, if the fetus dies anytime after 120 days, then it is to be washed, shrouded, named, and prayed over and buried. Proper burial, because it was actually a human being. So we are human beings not because of our physical. All right, we're human beings because of the soul that is actually put into our bodies. So the soul is actually what separates us from being considered or discarded as a fetus and to be prayed over and give a proper burial because we're actually a human being. So once the human soul connects with the body, that is now starts our human experience. All right? That is found, that starts our human experience. Where did the soul come from? Where did this soul come from? And did this soul have a previous existence before? Because souls don't die. Once Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala create the soul is eternal. It doesn't die. Which means that paradise and hell are eternal places. Eternal place of bliss and eternal place of damnation. Because it accommodates the soul that never dies. It accommodates the soul that is eternal. All right? So, essentially, the argument now is, was this soul, before it was put into that body, did it have a previous experience? All right? Some of the scholars say, yes, there was a previous experience that we had. Based upon the ayat where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that He took from the loins of Adam, and He made all of the children of Adam testify that He was God. And we all said, Bala. We all said, yes, you are God. And Allah said that He did this so that on the day of judgment, no one could say that we didn't know. So there was a previous experience that we had as souls prior to our souls occupying our bodies. All right? I don't know about that. That's for every baby laugh, there's a new soul born. I don't know. All right? This is part of our belief system in Islam. So some of the scholars say that yes, there was a previous experience that we had as souls, which is why the Prophet ﷺ said that the souls that recognize each other, they will connect. They will connect with each other. Al-arwah junud mujannada. Junud al-mujannada. That the souls that have previous acknowledgement or previous relationship with, you know how you meet someone and you say like that, it's like as if I've known you all my life. It's as if, we just mesh together so easily. All right? We mesh together so easily. All right, so some of the scholars say that prior to the soul occupying that body, that soul had a previous experience. All right? And once the soul occupies that body, all right, that vessel, all right, now we are having a human experience. We're having a human experience. There's a spiritual experience for a soul, and then there's the human experience. Once the soul occupies this vessel, this body, all right, now we're having a human experience, because with the human body comes certain emotions, feelings, all right, that are all human. Hurt, pain, love, happiness, joy, all of these things are human emotions. Carnal desires, sexual emotions, sexual desires, right? All of these things manipulation, mind games, and all of these things are part of our human experience. So when the soul occupies the body, the soul is now having a human experience. Having to, our whole struggle as Muslims is to balance our spirit, our soul, with the human experience that we are actually having. And we use the religion, the system, all right, the institution, divine institution from God. The religion is supposed to help us create that balance. We have a side of us that is, animalistic, that is physical, and then we have a side of us that is actually spiritual. A side of us that is actually spiritual. So the religion helps us to balance those two, which is why the Prophet ﷺ said, the spiritual side is that side that yearns to be with God. The spiritual side that wants to be righteous, that wants to do the right thing. That spiritual side that when you do something bad, internally you feel conflicted because your soul is telling you that that is wrong. All right? Your soul, your spirit is telling you that that is wrong. All right? Those are all the spiritual sides. It's to allow that spiritual side to overconquer, to overthrow the physical side. So that the spiritual controls the physical and not the physical controlling the spiritual. Because we are spiritual beings having a human experience, not human beings having a spiritual experience. Okay? So that is the goal of religion. The goal of religion is to make you in tune more with your spiritual side so the spiritual controls the physical. So now instead of acting out of impulse, right? Acting out of impulse, just animalistic pleasures and desires, right? We now think consciously. We're aware of consequences. We're aware of consequences is not, being aware of consequences is not a physical thing. If we are just left to our physical self, we act like animals. Animal impulses. We see a woman, we want her, we desire her, we go talk to her so we can devour her, and then we move on to the next woman. Vice versa. Woman sees a man, he's cute, I gotta have him. The lust, the desire to have this person, to conquer that and to keep it moving. That is the animalistic side. The side that we understand consequences and we learn how to tap into that spiritual side to raise us to a higher level, to elevate our station to a higher level, to say, yes, the animal side of me wants to devour this person, wants to take advantage of this person, but the other side of me tells that side that, no, this is not right. This is not okay. I'm putting myself at odds with God. I feel bad after I do it. You understand what I'm saying? So that's how the spiritual and physical actually work to complement one another. To complement one another. Afwan. I hope I did the best that I possibly could. I mean, scholars of Islam have written books on this. Ibn al-Qayyim has a book called The Ruh, the Soul. And he, examines, and I mean, some of it is pure speculation. Because we don't know a whole bunch about the soul, the spirit, and how it actually works. We can gather information from the Quran, from statements of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. All right, do you know the story of the spider in Muhammad? No, I don't know the story of the spider in Muhammad. Please inform me. I'm sorry, I don't know that story. Inshallah ta'ala, we'll stop here. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam tasliman kathira. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. The scholars have a saying, إِذَا كَانَ الْكَلَامِ مِنْ فِضَّةٍ فَالسُّكُوتُ مِنْ ذَهَبٍ. That if speaking is from silver, then silence is golden. If speaking is silver, then silence is golden. So, with that being said, I'm going to stop here. Assalamu alaikum.